Hey, good day, everyone. HeatherAsh Amara here. We are back to reading Warrior Goddess Training. Well, we've been reading Warrior Goddess Training, but I've been gone this week. So we're back. I'll give everyone a couple seconds to jump on. Hey, good morning, Doreen. I love that you wake up early. And anybody else that's here, go ahead and share where you're tuning in from. That would be great. My name is HeatherAsh Amara. I'm the author of Warrior Goddess Training. We've been reading the book for the last month plus. Thanks to Serena and Tara for reading for me the rest of this weekday. So every weekday, all over social media, hey Sakina, we're reading the entire book. So we're on lesson 7 right now. And we are celebrating the 7th birthday of Warrior Goddess Training, which happened in September. Hey Kathy, hey Emily, by reading and by giving gifts away. So yay, welcome. Hey Koi. So we are on lesson 7 today. We're starting. Hey Rin. And how are y'all doing? How's it going out there? Before we read, just share a minute. Hey Fiona. Hey Bonnie Lee. Whoa, I made really strong coffee, people. It's impressive. So wherever you're tuning in from now, whatever channel, just want to say hello to all the folks that are coming in from Hierophant Publishing, from Warrior Goddess Training page, from either of my Facebook pages, from my YouTube channel, Warrior Goddess Training Circle, hey peeps, and from YouTube. Yeah, oh, good to hear that everybody's doing good. Excellent. New laptops are always the best. Oh, I'm glad you got to see family. Good. Beautiful. Teresa. All right, sweet. So we're stepping into lesson 7, open your heart. Let's go ahead and step in. Hey, Lara. Hey, Connie. Oh, I hear Arkansas is amazing. I'm glad that you got to go there, Kathy. It's so great. So for those of you that are watching the recordings later, please feel free to chat where you're tuning in from and how your day, week, month has been. Yeah, you are welcome to be part of this little circle as well. All right, open your heart. Seeking love keeps you from the awareness that you already have it, that you are it. So Byron Katie. For years, I understood the concepts of loving more and unconditional acceptance. I knew the woman I wanted to be, more loving, more accepting, more compassionate. But in day-to-day living, I struggled with keeping my heart open, especially when I felt afraid. In the quest to soften my heart, I noticed a direct correlation between my heart and my judge. When my own critical voice was loud, my heart closed. Even with this awareness, my inner judge continued to torment me, and my heart stayed armored and protected. Believe it or not, it was a painting of an ancient eagle that catapulted me into a new relationship with my heart. It was 1996, and I was with Don Miguel Ruiz and a group at the pyramids of Teotihuacan, Mexico. I was quietly meditating in front of a mural of an eagle. This is a beautiful place called Tititla. When suddenly I had a vision of the eagle leaping out of the wall, grabbing my heart in its beak and flying to the sun. I'd been praying to release my fears around a relationship I was in, and I intuitively knew the message that was being given to me through this vision. Your heart does not belong to you or anyone else. It is of the universe. Let it shine like the sun. Do not attach your heart to this or that. Let your heart be a reflection of the love of the universe, one that emanates pure light. I realized in this intense moment of that experience that my authentic heart could not break or be given away or belong to one person or even have preferences. My heart was not a separate organ, but the whole universe of stars and space pulsing in my chest. I felt and understood how intimately I was connected with everything and how fiercely I loved it all. The pleasure, the pain, the suffering, the joy, the lover, the thief, the lady at the checkout stand, my best friend were all sacred, pure love in motion viewed through eyes of my true heart. Over time, I realized that in my experience with the eagle at Teotihuacan, a fundamental shift had happened in my being. My center of gravity had moved from my head to my heart. While the judge in my mind could still hook my attention, it was no longer the one who led. Sometime after this experience, I made a mistake, and a sweet inner voice said, "Oops, let's try that again." I froze in surprise. After years and years of my internal judge pushing me to be better, to try harder, to be perfect, this gentle self-acceptance was unfamiliar. At first, I was suspicious, as if an old enemy had suddenly started bringing me chocolate and sending flowers. Why was I being nice to myself for making a mistake? Was the judge going to return and punish me further down the road? What if my judge was right and being nice to myself made me soft, so I'd make more mistakes and become more complacent? As I continued to watch the transformation of my inner dialogue from fear, mine, to love, heart, I saw how being motivated by the fearful judge drained my energy and kept me anxious and on edge, while being inspired and guided by my accepting heart helped me feel happier, confident, and more flexible. Things really started to shift when I started being in relationship with my mind from my heart. This is an important lesson of a warrior goddess heart. Be compassionate and fiercely loving with yourself as you unwind old knots and fears and grow your heart's capacity. We have all had experiences that blast us open to love, the birth of a child, an unexpected spiritual experience, even the perfect color dress. These are all tastes of the heart, dipping into the stream of the heart's power. We want to take these singular experiences and stabilize our heart as our perceptual center. Really living from your heart takes a warrior's tools: patience, perseverance, humor. So get your compassionate goddess of sacred cleaning and purification ready to work side by side with your warrior focus to clear any stagnation and false beliefs around your heart. So that is up to page 91. I think Serena and Tara read a lot, which is awesome. But we're going to stop there for a moment and just take a break. Doreen, HeatherAsh, is it true that you had a dream of Don Miguel before you actually met? I did. So for those of you that are new here, welcome wherever you're tuning in from. We've been reading from Warrior Goddess Training for the last month plus now, month and a week, 5 weeks. We're on lesson 7 and we will keep reading, which has been magical. So happy to be here each day with you, each weekday, or else Serena Tara, one of our Warrior Goddess mentors, is also reading. So yes, I met Don Miguel in 1994. And about a year before that, it was a year before that, I was working at a place called the Experimental College at UC Davis. I don't even know if it exists anymore, but there were alternative classes that were happening there. And I was the office manager. So I was there every day, greeting people and meeting people. And I was just finishing up an apprenticeship with a woman that I loved dearly. And I also felt like something was missing in my life. And so one night I had a dream. And in the dream, this man came to me, like I was facing this man, and I just knew in my body that this was going to be my next teacher and that my whole life was about to change. So the next day, I remember waking up thinking, right, where am I going to meet this man? Like, this man doesn't exist. That was just a dream. And literally, I think it was the next day or that week, somebody comes into my office. Our meditation teacher, Larry Andrews, comes into the office. We don't really know each other, but he just looks at me and he goes, "Oh my God, you've got to meet this man." And I went, oh no, like my whole body went into fear because I'm like, I am not ready for this. So that was my intro to Miguel. Yeah, I've jumped with him many, many times and then met him the next year. Yeah. So here's the thing around the heart is that, again, that vision that I had in Teotihuacan, so much of our relationship with our heart is about armoring, protecting ourselves often. And if you look at little kids, like little kids and animals, puppies and kittens are so great reminders of what it's like to really be in relationship with our heart. And that they're like, they just love. And if there's something that they don't like, they don't like judge it. They just move away. And in that vision that I had, there was this understanding that the only thing that really allows us to be fully in relationship with our heart is to stop trying to tell it what to do or how to be, but to realize it has its own wisdom and that it doesn't need to attach to any one person. And that's a practice. It's really learning how to practice opening our heart to all things, the challenging things, the scary things, the distasteful things, the beautiful things. That is really an incredible way to be in relationship with our heart. Instead of deciding this is lovable, this is okay, this is where I'm going to put my heart, that we open. Yeah, that we practice opening. Good morning, Sarah. Hey, Jason, glad you're here. Yeah. Jolene, hi. Good. Yeah, I was thinking as I was reading, hi, Sherry. I thought I would maybe read another book as well because it's fun. I'm also going to start reading on Instagram at some point. I haven't figured out how to tie Instagram into the streaming, so I'll be reading on Instagram separately. Practice. That is hilarious. My computer's talking to me in my ear. Good morning, Karen. So, question, how can I open my heart? It's really about slowing down and listening and understanding that all of us have armoring around our heart. We have wounding, we have places of hurt, and that it's not about, so often the way through to open the heart is to acknowledge and honor your grief. Very few people love it when we talk about this, right? We just want to can't be all lovely and rainbows and unicorns and pretty. No, it's not necessarily pretty. Like, how did I really learn to open my heart? I had it broken. And I had a good couple years of just feeling crushed and that I didn't know what to do or how to be in relationship with myself. And it took the tending to the grief and really honoring all the places in myself where I had repressed my own grief or where I had tried to override it, the places of loss in my life that I'd never processed. And there were a lot of places. I had a lot of places in my heart where my heart was hurt because I hadn't known how to be in relationship with it. As a kid, we moved every 2 years. We could without fail every 2 years. And every once in a while, we moved every 5 months. Like there was a time when we landed someplace and we left like 5 months later. And every time we moved, my heart would be broken a little bit because I would fall in love with the trees and the animals and the people and the place and the smells. And, even though I'm a traveler, I love places deeply and I love humans deeply. And so every time we moved, it was being ripped up from my ecosystem again. And learning to honor that grief of the temporariness of things and learning how to, just feel. Yeah. And it's not like this, right? Healing doesn't happen. And this is the other thing that I learned from Miguel, which I really love in his book, Mastery of Love. And if you haven't read Mastery of Love, great book. And I'll share 2 stories from Mastery of Love. Now we're off topic, but it's on topic because so much of my work comes from 4 agreements. So if you think about a cut, if you think about where you've cut your skin, What do you need to do to heal a cut? And really what you need is to clean it out and to put some sort of salve or some sort of healing cream on it. That's not even necessary, but it's helpful. But mostly it's to keep it clean and to protect it a little bit so it doesn't keep getting re-injured. Okay. And our emotional body is the same way. We need to keep it clean. How do you keep it clean? Stop judging. Okay, so often we're judging of like things should be different. I should be different. And then we're blaming ourselves, and then we're going into shame. That's all places where we're stuffing dirt into the wound, and it's not able to heal. And so this idea of just keeping it clean and letting it move through. So yeah, and it just takes time. It takes time and tending. So to listen, what does your heart need? And I think this is where we're going next in the chapters, learning how to talk directly with your heart. So instead of intellectualizing, judging yourself, telling the story over and over again, to be able to say, okay, hi, sweetheart. So everyone do this, especially those of you that are in extreme grief right now. Put your hand on your heart. Just put your hand on your heart. Put your hand on your belly. Just breathe. Right here. And at first, there's nothing to do but just be with the grief. Just let it move. To not try to fix it or change it or understand it. Just let it be. It's okay. And then what'll happen is you'll start seeing glimpses of what the heart needs, what your being needs, how to tend to the heartbreak of being human. Because I feel like if we're living right, there's grief, there's loss, because there's so much that's shifting and moving and changing around us all the time. There's so much to be heartbroken about. And as we allow that heartbreak, it actually opens us more fully to be able to love more fully. Okay. I had a moment in my deep heartbreak where I was like, oh, this is why people close their heart and choose never to love and become bitter. Like, I get it. And I knew I had a choice. And I just made the choice in that moment. And I think this is the one gift we can give to ourselves, and so many gifts, but is to say, okay, heart, I'm going to choose to love. I'm going to choose to use this experience, whatever this heartbreak is, to love even more deeply and more fully. May this heartbreak help me to be in relationship with the vulnerability and the tenderness of being human rather than move away from it. And that's the choice that we have. It doesn't mean you know how. I didn't know how, but I stayed with myself through the process. And I had my little mantra, as long as it takes, as long as it takes. Yeah. So I hope that helps a little bit. And Doreen, for people that have been disconnected from their heart, it's the same thing. Like, hi, you have to befriend it again. And it's, if you haven't, here's a metaphor that might help make sense, is that if you have an animal that you've been beating, I know none of us would be beating up on animals, but just say, because you're beating up on your heart probably. You have an animal that you've been beating and that you've been shaming and that you've been pushing away, that animal's not going to trust you. Okay. You can win the animal's trust back, or if another human. So if you've ever worked with an animal that's been abused, that you've then caretaken, then there's this place that if you have an animal that's been abused, you have to be incredibly patient to win their trust back. And they're going to be super skittish and like come in and check you out and then run back out again. And that's the same thing with your heart. If you've been ignoring your heart, if you've been separated from your heart, it's going to be scared, untrusting, and that place of befriending it. It's going to take time. You're courting your own heart. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So that can be a helpful way to rewire how you think about your relationship with your heart, that it takes time. It's a courting. And that part of it is not just, oh, I'm going to feel great and blasted open and loving all the time. I don't believe that's what love is. For me, love isn't this, oh, it's all great all the time. No, love is having those really hard conversations with someone. Love is being in relationship to my grief and tenderness. Love is being open-hearted with a friend that doesn't want to be friends anymore. Love is making a boundary when I realize something isn't good for me or isn't serving me. Those are all places of love. So we really are in huge rewiring around what love is, because we have an idea of what it should be, right? It's the prince and happily ever after. No. It's navigating how to hold for your friend who just lost their baby. It's figuring out how to have that hard conversation with somebody that you love deeply, that you don't want to hurt, and you know you're going to hurt. That's learning how to be in relationship with your heart. It's work, but it's beauty all at the same time. Yeah. Good morning, Mo. Hey, Maria. Hey, Andrea, Chris, Heather, Trish. Hey, Wendy. So good to see you all. And just remember, if you're tuning in, sometimes YouTube doesn't show all the chats. So if I'm not calling your name, it's not because I'm ignoring you. It's because I don't see it. Yeah, sometimes because I'm broadcasting on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different channels right now. Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. So just put your hand on your heart and know that it'll come back. It'll just take time. Years. This is the other thing. Like when I was on my journey and I'd be really impatient with myself around something. And one day I was like, you know what? How many years have I been pushing my grief down, closing my heart, armoring, trying to protect myself? Like years. So what if it takes a year or 5 years or even 10 years to transform my relationship in my heart with my heart? That's how I'd like you to think about it. Instead of, is this going to happen tomorrow? Why isn't it happening? What's wrong with me? To think, okay, I'm going to dedicate the next 10 years, really the rest of your life, to reconnect with your heart. I know, the leopards are the best. Yeah, I'm in upstate New York right now. So, yeah. Bonnie Lee writes, so true, my dreams lately I'm realizing had been triggering, but now I'm realizing my heart, mind, body are beginning to regenerate into a balance of trust and truth. Beautiful, Bonnie Lee. Awesome. Maria, for the first time in my life, I'm allowing myself to feel fully my heart broken, loss, and grief. It's overwhelming, but also healing. Oh, it's so beautiful. Learning to love myself and really be gentle. Yeah. And the grief will go in waves. You know, it's one of the things I talk about in another book, Warrior Heart Practice, is that when we separate the story from the emotion, you can just have the grief and it'll move through and then it'll clear and you'll be more open. And it'll take as long as it takes. Yeah, beautiful. Mm-hmm. Yeah, years. So commit years to mending. What else do we have, right? Yeah, Ali, I'm going through a change and needed to continue hearing that I need to open my heart. I'm continuing to listen to my body and lean into feelings and grieve. I keep saying one day at a time, this too shall pass. I am open. The universe gives me opportunity to create and be open. Yeah, I just need to tend to myself more throughout the day and be patient with myself and love myself as I do for others. Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, Penny. I love upstate New York. It's my second home. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And of course, if you've been in a, like Angela writes, I'm detoxing from an unhealthy marriage. I'm going through a lot of healing journeys as past comes up. There's lots tied in there. It's not just the marriage. It's everything that led up to that marriage and beyond. Hey, Ines, glad that you're here from Portugal. Yeah. For as long as it takes. And if you need a song to go with it, here's my corny song. All Night Long by Lionel Richie. That can be your corny song that goes with it if you need one. Sometimes songs are the best. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, separating the story from the emotion. Again, another practice. Yes, I love that, Rin. It's so true. We're all kindergartners at something all the time, and we're always gentle and careful with kindergartners, right? Yeah. And sometimes you got to be fierce. You know, if your kindergartner is about to run across the street, you're not going to gently be like, oh, sweetheart, don't run across the street. Sometimes we need that also, like fierce, like come back. And it's not out of anger, it's out of love. And then it dissipates. And then there's love. So absolute gentle. And I also remind us too, sometimes we need fierceness as well. All right, so one more question. And then for those of you that are new, Sarah, I've got your question, thanks. So I'll answer that in a sec. So for those of you that are new or just tuning in, we're reading Warrior Goddess Training every weekday morning, 7 a.m. Los Angeles, 10 p.m. New York, 3 p.m. London. Either myself or one of the Warrior Goddess mentors will be reading. I'll be back tomorrow morning, or tomorrow day. I try not to say morning. It's morning for me, but not necessarily for you. But I'll be back tomorrow at the same place and same time. So wherever you're tuning in from, you can come back and I would be here tomorrow. Or you can also jump onto, there's a lot of social media that I'm tuning into. So we're on the Hierophant publishing page, my publisher's page. Hey, Randy. Warrior Goddess Training Women's page, Warrior Goddess Women group, the Warrior Goddess Training Circle, my pages, YouTube. So lots of different places that you can listen. And also for those of you that are new, we have a circle. I shouldn't say I, because there's many of us that are holding the circle. We have a circle called the Warrior Goddess Training Circle, which is an online membership, incredibly magical circle. And we are stepping into what we call the Journey of the 9 Moons in a couple weeks. So right now, you can join for free to test it out and see if it feels like a match for you through November 1st. And I'm going to write anybody who's in the circle that's joined new, want to share what your experience is. So warriorgoddess.com/circle. And there's a coupon code. So for that free month, coupon code, yay. Thanks, Jason. I love that you added All Night Long. And music like 4 Elements, Earth, Water, Fire. Beautiful. Thanks, Jason. So if everybody needs Spotify, Jason has shared. I love that. Thanks, hon. Yeah. Okay. So if you want to join circle, like peas in a communal pod, warriorgoddess.com/circle, coupon code yay. That gets you a free, it's not exactly a month now because it's through November 1st. It gives you time to come in and check the circle out. We've got over 400 women and men. So everybody, all genders, sorry, I shouldn't say women, all genders are welcome. We'd lovely to have you. And it is a really beautiful place to take these teachings into action, like to really bring them into your world. So hope that you can join. Again, warriorgoddess.com/circle. You can check out, learn more about it. Use coupon code YAY that you can join at no charge, no cost, no obligation, just for you. It's just a gift from my heart to yours through November 1st. Yeah. We're also opening up our leadership training. So for any of you out there that are therapists, that are yoga instructors, that want to be in service, that are looking to up-level yourself in terms of being able to hold space with love for others and for yourself, because you're included in that circle, we are opening up the leadership circle. So we have 3 different levels of training, and we're opening up level 1. So you can learn more about that. warriorgoddess.com/leadership. Okay. Question. Sarah had a great question, going back to it. Good. You're so welcome, sweetheart. Can you share something about how we can simultaneously move into new relationships with an open heart while healing past grief? Oh, yes. You get to do both. So sometimes the hope is I can move into a new relationship and just leave that old one behind and leave all the grief behind. But my experience has been you get to do both. So can you hold the excitement and curiosity and that blasted open place of new love and honor the grief that's still there? Because it probably will be. And my experience is that stepping into new relationship after a big heartbreak and a lot of grief was part of what would happen is that I would reach places within a relationship where I'd only gotten to with my ex-husband, and all the grief would come back up again, or something would spark. There'd be a restaurant, there'd be a particular way the light was hitting, and all the old grief would be back again. And because I was okay with that, I was like, hello, friend, like there's my grief for my ex. And that was okay. So there's this beauty of we can hold so many different emotions and different colors, and they don't have to dilute each other. We can say it's not a great way of putting it, but that I can hold I'm so excited to meet this new human and get to know who this human is and get to know who I am now. Because really, that's so much of what relationship is. Who am I now? How do I interact with others? And can I also honor that there's going to be grief that arises in surprising times? Because grief definitely shows up when it shows up, and you never know when or how, so that you can hold both. I hope that helps a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Heal and transmute and hold space for the struggle and grief. Yeah. I love revisiting my definition of what love is. Thanks for the reminder. I loved reading Bell Hooks All About Love to support my healing and redefining love for myself. Yes. Always read Bell Hooks. All right, loves. Thanks so much for joining me today. Again, I'll be back tomorrow. Same time, same place, 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. British Standard Time. We're reading from Warrior Goddess Training. We're on page, if you want to join along. We are going to be starting from page 91, Purifying Your Heart. And I'm doing a drawing next week. We were doing it here, and I'm like, okay, too messy. That was super fun the last couple of weeks. But if you want to get on the drawing, we're going to do a grand prize drawing next week. And you need to be on the mailing list. So if you're not on the mailing list, go ahead and join over at warriorgoddess.com. Everyone's welcome. I send newsletters out every Tuesday, or most Tuesdays. So if you can check out that, warriorgoddess.com, just slide down to the footer and add yourself. And then next week, I'll do a drawing for books and gifts and other magical stuff. All right. Thanks for joining me. Take good care of yourselves today. Talk to that heart of yours. Yeah. Listen to good music. Take care of yourselves. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye, loves.